Oleksandr Usyk has officially relinquished all his heavyweight world titles, and now the heavyweight division is blown wide open. Before we talk about how this changes everything within the division, first of all, we have to give credit to Oleksandr Usyk. What a fighter. What a champion. An absolutely incredible fighter. And for me, the best fighter heavyweight of this generation. You know, Usyk has done everything. He's achieved everything in boxing. He dominated the cruiserweight division, moved up in weight, beat Anthony Joshua twice, Tyson Fury twice, Danny Dubois twice. Like, he's done everything. And I think it was clear to Usyk that it's either he fought Agit Kabayel or he relinquished the belt. And that's exactly what he did. Relinquish the belt so that the division can be open and other fighters can fight for the world title. So I give Usyk credit. I think he's an incredible fighter. One thing that is really impressive about Oleksandr Usyk and his achievement is that Usyk, as a heavyweight champion, was the best boxer in boxing. And what I mean by that is, most of the time, the best boxer in boxing is not the heavyweight champion, because we know that heavyweights are not exactly the most technical fighters in boxing, and most of the time it's someone that is the best boxer in the lower weight division. But when it comes to Usyk, as Usyk reigned as the heavyweight world champion, I think everybody would say that Usyk was the best boxer in boxing, because technically he is incredible, an amazing fighter. And I am glad to have witnessed Usyk fought in the ring. And good luck to him. Whatever he does next, I think Usyk is going to try and fight Rico Verhoeven, you know, because that wasn't his best performance. So I think Usyk wants to fight Rico Verhoeven and, you know, make the wrongs right before he retires from boxing, because I think he feels like he could have done better. And I think the next time Usyk stops Rico Verhoeven quite early in the fight. So it'll be interesting to see. But as I said, the heavyweight division, guys, is wide open, and there's so much that is going to happen, because there's a lot of changes that is going to happen in the division, because right now so many world titles have become available for other fighters to pick up. So if you look at, you know, Moses Itauma versus Filip Hrgović, I mean, according to a lot of people, Moses Itauma is the next big thing in boxing. Like, people are saying that this guy is going to rule the heavyweight division. Moses Itauma is going to be the next undisputed champion. He's getting a lot of praise. So if he beats Filip Hrgović, there's no reason why Moses Itauma is not going to fight for a world title next. I'm expecting Moses Itauma's fight after Filip Hrgović, if he wins, to be a world title, because, you know, the titles are now everywhere, you know, and Frank Warren, being a very shrewd businessman and a very good promoter, I think he can find a way for Moses Itauma to fight for a world title next if he beats, you know, Filip Hrgović. Now, for Filip Hrgović, if he wins this fight, then, you know, the sky is the limit for him, because once again, all the belts are out there now. So if Filip Hrgović is able to beat Moses Itauma, then he goes out there to try and pick up a belt and to become a heavyweight world champion. So that is definitely on the table for someone like Filip Hrgović. But in this fight, everybody's picking Moses Itauma to be the favorite. And I think, you know, whoever wins that fight, as I said, will definitely fight for the heavyweight world champion next. Now, this is really interesting, because we have the rematch between Daniel Dubois and Fabio Wardley. And this is a rematch that, you know, people have talked about, that Fabio Wardley should definitely not take this fight, because that was a brutal beatdown in that first fight. That was an incredible beatdown by Daniel Dubois. But Fabio Wardley is a warrior, and he's going to take this fight. He's going to take the rematch, because he feels that he made some mistakes that he can rectify in the rematch, which I don't think, you know, he has any chance. But we will see, right? But what this means is that this is another champion in the division. So whoever wins this fight, a unification fight is on the card for whoever wins between Daniel Dubois and Fabio Wardley. So there's a belt available for whoever wins this fight to collect. I think one thing that's really important and really exciting about what Usyk has done and what it means for boxing is that whoever becomes the next undisputed champion would have actually earned it. Like, this person would have actually earned it, whoever becomes the next undisputed, because he's going to have to collect the belts from individual champions, because the belts are now, you know, all over the place, and other fighters are going to pick up, you know, belts here and there. And so whoever becomes the champion or the undisputed champion must have fought everyone, right, to gain all these belts. And that's what's really interesting about what Usyk has done. For me, it's a really good thing that Usyk relinquished the belt and that the division can come live again. The division can become exciting again, because now you've got other fighters that will be looking to pick up a belt and stake their claim as being a legit heavyweight contenders or heavyweight champion. So that would be really interesting to see. Now, the most interesting part about all of this is a certain Agit Kabayel, because right now, Agit Kabayel is the WBC heavyweight world champion because Usyk has relinquished that belt. And so Kabayel now becomes the world champion. And so now the question is, who is Agit Kabayel going to fight? Because he's a champion, he has to defend his belt. Now, I can assure you that Agit Kabayel would not rather want to become a heavyweight world champion via email. Like, Kabayel is not happy that Oleksandr Usyk has relinquished the belt. I don't think he is, because Kabayel, as a competitor, would want to fight Usyk, to be able to say that I fought Usyk, I beat Usyk, I became a world champion. But what we can see here is that Agit Kabayel is a world champion and he never fought the champion to become a world champion. So for me, Agit Kabayel's next fight is the fight that makes him a legit champion. For me, that's how I see it, right? So then you ask yourself the question, who is Agit Kabayel going to fight next? And if you look at the next fighters in line for the WBC, I feel like Agit Kabayel's next fight is either he's going to have to wait for someone to become available, someone that, can bring a lot more money on the table, or he has to fight someone just to defend his belt. So let's have a look at this, right? You look at Tyson Fury, he's number one on, the heavyweight ranking of the WBC. You've got Lawrence Okolie. Lawrence Okolie failed the drugs test. I don't think he's going to have any fight soon. So definitely not fighting for the heavyweight world champion. Tyson Fury is fighting Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is number 5. So Agit Kabayel's next fight is definitely not going to be either Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury. And then you have Itauma and Filip Hrgović, and these guys are engaged with a fight. So this is where it goes back to my, the point that I was making, that whoever wins between Itauma and Filip Hrgović is going to fight for a world title. And I think, whoever wins that fight will likely face Agit Kabayel in the next fight, if Kabayel wants to sit down and wait for either Itauma or Filip Hrgović to know their fate in that fight. And then you've got Frank Sanchez. Kabayel is beating Frank Sanchez already, so I'm not sure that he wants to make the fight. You got Deontay Wilder. I mean, I think, Kabayel absolutely obliterates Deontay Wilder there. I'm not sure that they'll make that fight. You got Rico Verhoeven, who I don't think deserves to be in the top 10 of the WBC ranking. You've got Efe Ajagba, you've got Richard Riakpo. So I think Agit Kabayel right now, the way things look like, I think it's either Kabayel waits for the winner between Itauma and Filip Hrgović if Agit Kabayel wants to make more money in the next fight. So right now, he's the champion. The world is his oyster. He can sort of pick and choose who he wants to fight next. And I think Kabayel would make the, the right decision there. But one thing that's also really important with all this Usyk, relinquishing the belt is this fight. Like Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. Now, as we know the conversation to be about this fight, we know that this fight is now looking to take place in Las Vegas in the USA. But I think what's really important and what's really interesting about all of this is that there could be a world title on the line for this fight. There could be. There could be a world title, because if you look at it, Usyk relinquished all the belt and the Ring Magazine belt is available. Now, Turki Usyk and Dana White, they are working together. Turki Usyk owns the Ring Magazine. And so if they want to bring some jeopardy into this fight, if they want to make this fight, worthwhile for the fans, if they want to motivate either one of these fighters, either Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury, I think they put the Ring Magazine belt on the line for this fight. So now all of a sudden, there's jeopardy in this fight. It's not just two fighters, fighting to make money and making 100 million each. But all of a sudden, there's a world title on the line for these guys to fight for it. And I think that's what we're going to see when it comes to this fight. I think, likely there's going to be a world title on the line for Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. And this is what I mean with Oleksandr Usyk, sort of vacating all the belts, sort of opens up the division. And now there's so many different matchups that could happen in the heavyweight division. And it's exciting. So we're going to see other contenders who are really hungry, who want to become world champions, challenging the guys that are currently, number 1 or number 2 in the rankings to become world champions. And then we're going to see different fighters, different styles. And in the end, us as fans, we win. Like, the fans win what Usyk has done. The fans benefit from that because we're going to see a lot more fights. Because nobody is going to wait to just fight one fighter because they are the champion. Now, everybody would want to fight each other because there's so many belts floating out there that fighters think that they could get to legitimize themselves as a top heavyweight in the division right now. So look, it's exciting times. I think boxing is heading to a place where we can all get behind it. We can all get excited about it. Oleksandr Usyk, he's done the thing that he needs to do, and that is relinquish the belt. And now he can fight Rico Verhoeven for the rematch. Maybe it happens in Holland. It's going to be a big fight. Usyk is going to make a lot of money and he can sail off into the sunset. And then now the heavyweight division is open for other fighters to fight for the world titles that are available right now. Guys, get in the comment section and let me know what you think about Oleksandr Usyk relinquishing all the heavyweight belts and the division being wide open. What do you think about this? Who do you want to see fight Agit Kabayel? How do you see this playing out for the heavyweight division right now? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below.